Cities are systems, and the challenge that we face globally to meet the Paris targets is to change our systems. Very hard to know where to begin, where to end, to bound ourselves sufficiently to the point where we can experiment, learn from those experiments, and trial our way forward into alternative ways of dealing with materials, alternative ways of understanding and thinking about production and consumption.
What I often say is that there is a sort of race between climate change and innovation, and we will be able to deal with this huge and relevant problem only if innovation is faster.
But it requires a lot of investment, and there is at times a lack of access to some of the big funds, and potentially also because some of the projects on city or district level are too small in terms of investment opportunity. And the idea is that one project in a city, that's too small, but if you have 10 cities who want to do the same thing, then you can scale it up, and it's a big enough investment opportunity for the private sector to become interested.
The role of cities in this work is of course crucial. The focus has to be of course on buildings. Roughly 50% of the infrastructure that will be needed in the next 20 to 25 years to cater for all the people in new cities has not been built yet. And if it takes place with today's technologies and today's basic materials, you can forget about the Paris Agreement.
Cities are highly dependent on the supply chains that feed them. So all the products that are coming into cities are designed without recycling or reuse in mind. And so until those entire supply chains are transformed, you can't really do so much as a city. You're dependent on collaboration with all the companies and sectors that are operating within the city.
Cities have the biggest greenhouse gas emissions, and we can change transportation. We can share cars and bicycles, whatever, so the sharing economy is so important.
I think an important part in accelerating climate action is actually partnership. We can't build our product on our own. We have to partner and work together towards achieving a more sustainable and resilient cities together.
There's an interesting relationship between overarching regulatory frameworks exploring big long-term policy guidelines and the ways in which cities provide feedback loops into the effectiveness of those policy guidelines for meeting present needs. But it's not necessarily about reconsidering the entire body of legislation. It might be one or two key paragraphs that were relevant for a prior technology era or a prior set of industrial needs that, if changed, would enable and unlock an entirely new economic system.
We've partnered with Climate-KIC in order that we bring the mayors from C40 and the land, that Climate-KIC is going to bring the innovation, bring the private sector partners with their great ideas and creativity to turn these plots into hopefully a definition of what a beautiful new city of the world will look like.